Hi everybody and welcome to SA Rugby Magazine. I'm Kevin Ferguson. I've got Ollie Keohane, Mark Keohane. Mark, at least we're kicking off now again with a game that isn't, with a game that has some meaning.
Yeah, meaning because there's log points at stake. Super Rugby unlocked and a kind of Currie Cup competition that will follow, and the big game in Durban, Friday night, Lions, the visitors against the Sharks.
Yeah.
And Sharks will be a lot better than they were in that exhibition game. I looked at the two team sheets. I think they'll win comfortably, and the Lions, traditionally in the last 4 or 5 years, have struggled when they've gone to Durban. I think it'll be a bit of a crappy game. But at the moment, it's just important those Springboks get out there and play in the build-up to the Rugby Championship.
Yeah. Well, I hope the games usually aren't high scoring in the Shark Tank, are they? It's the humidity and everything that...
They're not usually great to watch either.
Especially not Friday night games. I know in Durban there's a lot better things to do on a Friday night, but then they would say the converse is on a Saturday everyone wants to go to the beach there. So, but yeah, I mean, quite an uninspiring opening kind of round of matches when you see Cheetahs against the Pumas and the Bulls up against Griquas at Loftus, and I expect the Bulls to win quite comfortably. I think that's the team we keep on saying we want to see. Jake's been together with them for 6 months. They really did look structured in that first 40 minutes in that fans' day. Yeah, and the Sharks, I think people were a bit disappointed in how they came back from where they had left off in Super Rugby, but just the main thing, everyone's out there playing.
You can't take much from those fan days either, though, because they make 15 changes at half time, you know, and then it's a completely different side playing, a completely different structure. But so even though the Sharks were down by that much in the first half, they should still pump the Lions.
Yeah, so you're expecting a beating?
Yeah, I mean, it's still not high scoring, but I just don't think the Lions will score very many points. I could see it being like a sort of 18-6 kind of game, 26.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that I don't think it'll be a single digit there because there's always an intercept or two. The one thing I'll be interested in is if the bone collector collects a few more bones. Willem Alberts is back.
Full circle.
He played for the Sharks for many years. He went to Paris, came back. I think he's only 33 now, so don't be surprised he may somehow making a Springbok comeback. These guys do that, but he's playing at lock, not in flank, and someone will be lined up during that first 30 minutes, a little pop pass to some centre and you'll go down. So yeah, I'm expecting him to make a little bit of an impact. And then obviously again, the big thing, Lukhanyo Am and his captaincy, and there's all this talk that he's being groomed as the potential successor one day to Siya Kolisi. And listening to that Green versus Gold match and listening to Jean de Villiers talk, who was a centre and captain of the Springboks, and then especially Schalk Burger, who felt that he's never really backed the concept of a 13 captaining aside because they're so far away from the action. And that's why he said 9 and 10 becomes so pivotal and 8 in the pack becomes pivotal to decision making. But Lukhanyo Am, he really has impressed me. His work rate, he's so understated. He does so much over the ball. And it just... I just like the look of the Sharks backline players, and I think a little bit more experience from their Springboks in that side.
So, give me a prediction then.
28-13 to the Sharks. 15 points comfortably.
I'm going to go 30-15, and Ollie, you going to stick with your 18-6?
26.
20-6. Okay. Well, there is one game that has a bit more gravitas, I think, this weekend, and it's the All Blacks Australia in Wellington. Good weather.
Afternoon kickoff. Sunday.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's the chance for New Zealand to win a cup again. They haven't played for over 400 days in New Zealand. It's a new squad. It's a new coach, even though he's been in the system for 8 years. You got Dave Rennie, the former New Zealand under-20 coach, the former Chiefs Super Rugby Championship winning coach, who's gone to Australia via Glasgow, picked 16 new caps in a squad of 45. He did give Michael Hooper the captaincy again. So you don't know what they're going to come with either. And I was surprised chatting to Ollie, and he's talking about the spread and the points differential. I just think it's, on what basis have they given an 18-point differential when New Zealand hasn't played? Australia hasn't played, and it's 2 new coaches.
And lots of young faces in both sides.
I think it's going to be very close.
Well, yeah, 17.5 seems a bit ridiculous for me, considering everything that we've gone through with COVID and everything like that. Of course, New Zealand had a much better build-up to any of the tests. But yeah, I'm not convinced on their coach. We don't even know what the team sheets are. You know, anytime you can get plus 17.5 on Australia, you've got to put the tickle down at least. Just a tickle.
People seem to forget that Australia have also played an entire Super Rugby competition of their own. It's not like they've only played 2 or 3 games. You know, it's just everyone remembers.
Well, they forgot
New
because
Zealand.
no one wanted to watch it.
No one wanted to watch it, but it still happened, you know. And like Jacques Nienaber said with the Green versus Gold clash, maybe it was a disappointing sort of spectacle to watch, but it's necessary for the players, you know. And if guys have gotten 6-7 games in, you know, some guys have played all 10 matches. Like it's important for coming into a match prepared, regardless of the quality of those matches. It's just sort of time on the field. So I definitely see it being a scrap and not so much a easy flowing, high scoring, nice rugby kind of game.
I was interested in seeing Sam Whitelock, who's playing his 118th test. He played under Dave Rennie at the under 20 World Championship when they won it in Wales. And so they asked him, how's it life under Foster? And he said, well, you know, he doesn't really know just yet. He thinks it's pretty cool and it's pretty relaxed. And they asked the differential between previous coaches. And he said, well, Graham Henry was a principal and that's how he ran his team. Steve Hansen was an ex-cop, that's how he ran his team. And then I said to Ollie and Foster, all he's run is the Waikato Chiefs into the ground with his 50% win record. So I'm not convinced about him. John Plumtree, there's a lot of focus being put on him in New Zealand, saying he's bringing the harder edge back there. You know, Plum was loving living in South Africa. He lived here for 20 years. It was a big loss to South African rugby. He had great aspirations to coach the Springboks, as you well know. Had to go via Ireland as a forward coach when the Sharks let him go to New Zealand for Wellington. And I think that's a very good appointment that Foster's made, is bringing him in. I just don't think they've got the pack at the moment. You know, I look at their loose forwards, and the Hoskins Satutu has been very impressive. But Shannon Frizzell, so Sam Cane, good without ever going to be a McCaw. And Artie Severe strikes me as like a corner cricket type player. He's exceptional at Super Rugby, but I don't quite think he's ever stepped up at test level to be that starting option. And, you know, Sam Whitelock is getting on a bit. They've got 2 very good hookers, but their pack isn't something special. It's not a Springbok pack or an England pack, and Australia will negate that and handle them. And the one thing about Australia's backs is they're technically always very good. So I think it's going to be a lot tighter than a lot of people think, and I wouldn't be surprised. I'm certainly expecting Australia to beat New Zealand on occasion this year and to start beating them more regularly now that Rennie's there. I think New Zealand's had that golden age, the McCaw-Carter age, and this side will be always in the top 3 in world rugby, but they're certainly not that side that you look and you think, wow. But I'm just glad it's going to be played in front of a full house.
I see value in that all.
Are you going to be betting on it? I've already locked it in case the markets move.
I'll probably lock it in after the show, but yeah, I'll probably put 500 Rand down at plus 17.5 on Australia. But I may as well. I like the minus 7.5 on New Zealand in the first half. That handicap, because they usually start well, don't they?
Yeah.
They kind of seem to go in bursts, you know, a try or 2 and then long sort of phases of defense and then boom, 3 tries in the last 10 minutes, you know.
Yeah. Are you going to get up and watch it?
What time is it?
It's I think it's
5 in the morning.
5 in the morning, yeah. Yeah, I'll certainly be taking the highlights package on that one.
Yeah. There you go.
Those days are long gone.
I'll just wait for my text message from Betway at 7 in the morning. If I hear a ding, then I know that I don't know it's gone how I wanted it to.
It's a bit like the Aston Villa Liverpool game, and I saw 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, and then someone texted me and said the miracle will come. So I switched off and just didn't want to go into the Twitter feed till the next morning, expecting a 5-4 or a miraculous 4-all, 7-2. So when those things start coming through,
maybe that was the miracle. Yeah.
That was the miracle, yeah. So I think New Zealand will win, but it won't. I think it will be a single-digit victory.
Yeah,
I think maybe a 29-21, 29-22, that kind of game.
Yeah. I'm thinking 32-24.
Yeah, I'm thinking a reasonably high-scoring game. Thinking about 35-28.
All for New Zealand.
Yes, absolutely. Well, there you have it. Thanks, guys.
First.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys, for coming in.